Welcome back to the CriblCon 25 Criblecast News Desk. My name is Bradley Chambers, back with, I don't even know where to start with you, Paul. Paul Stout from Visicore Tech. I've been at Cribl, I've been around Cribl since 2020, and I don't remember ever not being in our friend circle of friends. You're really just a legend to many customers, and you've been here for forever. It feels like you're part of the family. So what are you doing at Visicore Tech?
So I'm Field CTO. I'm responsible for our products as well as our new line of subscription services.
I'm going to ask, I got to know, what's the deal with Goat Search? Hey, number one, I'm a fan of the name personally, but what are we doing here with Goat Search?
So this was actually our CRO's idea. We were putting together a proposal for a prospect and wanted to bring Cribl Search into the mix. We thought it could provide them value, search in place. They face the same challenges that others do, the expense of storing everything in the system of analysis. And so we had a set of dashboards that were prepared for Cribl Search. We had a set of dashboards there, a Splunk shop, prepared for that. And James was like, hey, can you do that in the same dashboard? Thought about it. I'm like, well, not yet. So we put it together. And what it was really designed for is to allow analysts to work in whatever platform they are most comfortable with. And we tend to find with some of the systems of analyses, you tend to have a pretty almost cult-like following to it. And that could actually stifle adoption of Cribl Search. That can stifle what I want to talk about today, and that's data tiering and cost value matching and whatnot. And so by exposing that, by presenting Cribl Search results, you're still searching at rest, you're still searching wherever your data is, it really starts opening the door to them for that. And the irony is, we came here to talk about the subscription services. Everyone wants to talk about that app.
Well, I think it just shows when you sometimes the greatest ideas are just like on a whim. You're like, oh, that's actually pretty good. You've worked with customers in some of the most demanding environments and implementing a variety of solutions, not just Cribl. What challenges your customers face when classifying and tagging data across their environments?
It's really a mind shift in this. For the longest time, and I know this was touched on earlier at the keynote today, for the longest time, schema-on-read was pushed. You didn't have to define it as it was coming in. You didn't have to classify it because your schema-on-read process or whatever that may be would take care of it for you. And then to do some of the more, well, first of all, to know how your data is being used, and second of all, to know where to send it, some of the more advanced stuff that we're doing, you kind of have to shift that. With the proliferation of AI and AI workloads on these systems analyses, as was mentioned earlier, you're shifting the burden of processing from ingest and retrieval to search workloads on it. And you have to have some sort of classification, some sort of idea where that data needs to be used. So really legacy thinking. Another side of that too is, by and large, we tend to see deployments of any system analysis of Cribl as a slow. No one does it all at one time. No one comes in with, say, $10 million and says, onboard my entire environment right now. So you have different people working on it, you have different levels of training on it, different philosophies working on it, and it's just kind of a perfect storm of those.
Well, when y'all are working with customers, how do you all, what's Cribl's role in helping you automate, pipeline onboarding and gain visibility and what that data is doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So step one is to your point, to understand what it's doing. And that's something that I worked with Ed Bailey on y'all's team on a client maybe about 6 months ago. They just wanted to be able to prove to their CISO, we are using all this data for its intended purpose. And I've seen that across practically every organization I've been in. If you ask anyone in that org, how are we using all of our data? No one can answer that question. So by tagging it, and the initial use case was to tag it to a type of data and to a detection event that it is then powering, then that allows not only to be able to answer that question, though, hey, we're actually receiving return on this massive, massive investment, but whenever you know that every single bit of your data is being used for something, when you inevitably have to go back to request more budget because 30% CAGR, then at this, it's so much easier to have that conversation when you can say, hey, we're at capacity. We know where every single bit of this is going. It's fueling all these detections, and now we need to do X, Y, and Z.
From a business point of view, obviously the technical thing, I think we could talk about, till the sun comes up. But from a business point of view, and obviously, that's often what drives the business. What are the biggest impacts you've seen when customers really gain full control over their data?
Sure. Again, it's just about that assurance of knowing where it's going. They're able to better match the the cost of their platforms to the value of the data going in. But by intelligently tagging it, intelligently routing it, and ultimately intelligently shaping it, you can meet your compliance, your observability, your security, all of data governance, all of those requirements with a single unified framework. And then again, the data growth is not going to stop. So it makes those conversations in terms of expansion and tooling so much easier to have once you fully understand the data that's coming in.
You mentioned subscription services earlier. How do those and data tiering strategies fit together, helping customers manage like that cost and performance pendulum?
That is a great question. So with subscription services, it's not monolithic like a legacy professional services. You have different we like to say it closes the skills and the budget gaps in consulting. So skill gaps in that you can get the right person on the job rather than say a staff augmentation. Well, you may have the best consultant in the world, but unfortunately that one person does not know everything. And then the budget gaps, what we see is especially with short to medium term professional services engagements, you get to the end of it, well, you haven't done all the work, but at that point you're out of money until the next budget cycle rolls around. So by aligning a subscription service to that, you can then align the services coverage for the duration of the contract of whatever you're trying to align to. And then specifically as it relates to data tagging, I'll use Cribl Stream as an example. Cribl Stream is not a consistent source of work for services. It just isn't. You onboard a data source, you get it tuned, and then by and large, you forget about it. So a subscription allows you to better react to that ebb and flow of the demand, or able to take capacity from, say, a Cribl Stream project and put it on a lakehouse project, all without going through the very time-consuming process of change orders, of change approvals, and all of that.
Last question. I noticed you have a gold chain around your neck. What's that about?
Someone hit me over the head and drug me to the bar and threw it on last night. I woke up. You mentioned I've been around for as long as you can remember. I try to stay active in the community. I've done some development, and this is a community award. They call it the Goat of Goats, and it's kind of, I guess, for better or worse, I poke my nose in almost everything and try to add value.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate obviously we're super thankful to come alongside Visicore Tech and work with our joint customers. But I think, personally, I'm thankful for you in the work that you've done in the community over the years. And I think that's the great thing about technology. You can be an IT person with one company, an IT person in another company. You may compete on the business side. The tech people often share notes and share knowledge and share resources. I think that's what makes the community great, is we're all really trying to manage costs and avoid breaches as best we can. Just personally, I'm appreciative of you, and we're thankful you are here, and I'm thankful you're here.
And thank you as well. You say that as if you haven't had anything to do with our success and visibility over the years. So Thank you as well for your partnership.
Thank you for everybody for watching. Big fan of Paul. You ought to connect with Paul on LinkedIn. He has a lot of great content. This has been Bradley Chambers from the CriblCon 25 CriblCast News Desk. We'll be back later with more interviews.